Alrighty, welcome to Loreverse Breakdowns. Now, this is the darkest thing the MCU has ever released, period. Forget the jokes, forget the flashy suits. This is a story about a man who has already died inside, and now he's just waiting for his body to catch up. We're breaking down the gravesite hallucinations, the raid style brutality, and the absolute destruction of the Gnucci crime family. This is the street level MCU at its most terrifying. So today, we are breaking down the Punisher One Last Kill special that just came out tonight. This was probably going out maybe past 12 o'clock, but great special. I did enjoy it. I think it positions the Punisher in a perfect way to where we don't get spoiled a lot, but you're giving us like character development before a movie and not having to put it in the movie. So it doesn't like, I guess, bore the fans. I like that it's innovative and maybe they're trying something new that they might use for Avengers Doomsday, where we might, or Secret Wars, where we might see more one-off specials like that for characters that they don't want to spend a show on and give us filler or waste a movie on. I actually do like this idea. Now, the special opens in a silence so heavy it feels like a physical weight. No music, no heroic entrance, just Frank in a tiny, suffocating safe house. And this room is a reflection of Frank's brain, empty of life but filled with tools for death, weapons, ammo, workout gear, and conspiracy boards. This isn't a home, it's a tomb. Following the events of Daredevil Born Again and his escape from Red Hook, Frank has completely disconnected from humanity. He isn't living, he's just maintaining a weapon, which is himself. Marvel finally confirms that the fallout of the Born Again finale. Frank is a ghost, but here's the kicker. Back in the day, Frank had a purpose. He had the people who killed his family in his sights, but now those people are already dead. Frank has no more revenge left to take, which leaves him with no identity. Without a war to fight, the machine is starting to malfunction. And then we get the scene that changes pretty much the tone of the entire special. Frank visits his family's graves, and the PTSD visions aren't comforting memories. They are kind of demonic. His wife and kids appear as aggressive, painful apparitions, and it's almost like a horror movie. So for a split second, Frank stares at his sidearm, and you realize he's seriously considering ending it all. This isn't a superhero story anymore. It's a study of a man at the absolute end of his hope. He's not looking for a fight. He's looking for a way out. And outside New York is a rotted out shell. Frank previously wiped out the top tier of the Gnucci family and created a power vacuum. And the neighborhood of Little Sicily is a war zone where animals are fighting over scraps. The streets feel lawless and animalistic, setting the stage for Frank to step back in and clean the slate. And the scene is really a gut punch, right? A group of thugs led by a bottom feeder named Mickey torments a homeless man by killing a puppy. It's purely for entertainment. And this is the moment Frank's, suicidal phase ends and his war phase begins. He sees the act of casual cruelty and decides that if humanity is this rotten, it doesn't deserve to breathe. And Mickey becomes the symbol of everything Frank hates about the world he's protecting. Now, Frank is haunted by two specific ghosts in his mind, Curtis Hoyle and Karen Page. Curtis, on one hand, represents the soldier. He's the voice, discipline, brotherhood, and grounding. He tries to pull Frank back into the light of the unit. Karen represents the guilt. Her hallucination is brutal. She attacks Frank's soul, blaming him for being a failure as a husband and a father. They are the twin pillars of his fractured conscience, fighting for control. And Ma Gnucci arrives as the true villain. And John Bernthal's performance opposite of her is electric. She isn't a physical match for Frank, but she's a psychological predator. She is fueled by the fact that Frank killed all three of her sons, and the war now isn't about business, it's personal. And she's willing to burn the entire city down just to see Frank's heart stop. And Ma Gnucci puts a massive citywide bounty on Frank. And suddenly, every lowlife in New York is a hunter. And this shifts the whole entire dynamic because now Frank isn't the one looking anymore. The fight is now coming to him, and he's being hunted in his own backyard. And that's when he's the most dangerous. And this scene is absolute insanity. Thugs storm Frank's safe house and light it on fire. Frank literally emerges from the flames, killing people while he's still burning. And symbolically, this is the end of the Pete Cascalone. The grieving man dies in that fire, and the Punisher is reborn in the ashes. And the next 20 minutes are a raid-style masterpiece of action. It's absolute chaos, right? Frank fights floor by floor through a wave of attackers, shotguns, knives, axes, and point-blank executions. Marvel did not hold back on the R rating here. This is the most graphic, bone-snapping combat the MCU has ever put to film. And by the middle of the fight, the criminals start to realize Frank isn't just a man, he's a myth. He takes absurd levels of damage, stabs, wounds, blood loss, explosion impact, and he just keeps coming. The special starts treating him like a horror movie slasher. He's legit the Michael Myers of the MCU, and the thug's confidence turns into pure, unadulterated terror. And a thug detonates a dynamite in a narrow hallway, blasting Frank across the building, and he should be dead, but he gets back up. And the implication here is terrifying, right? The war itself is sustaining him. He is literally surviving on pure concentrated rage. And as long as there's an enemy to kill, Frank Castle's heart refuses to stop beating. And Frank does reach the rooftop, right? Surrounded by dozens of desperate criminals closing in for the bounty. It feels apocalyptic. He's out of ammo, out of tricks, and bleeding out. And this is the Alamo of the street level MCU. Frank is thrown off the rooftop. The impact looks fatal, but he gets back up slowly, painfully, and inhumanely. And this is where he transcends humanity and becomes a legend. He isn't a man anymore. He is an idea, a permanent consequence for evil. So what we see now is that Frank ends up tracking down Mickey, the thug from the puppy scene. And the execution here is cold. It's not just a kill, it's a moral verdict. To Frank, Mickey is the proof that the world is rotten behind repair. He isn't just killing a thug, he's punishing the very concept of cruelty. And the biggest shock is that he spares Ma Gnucci. This is massive growth. Instead of killing her, he destroys her legacy. He wipes out her money, her army, and her name, and he leaves her alive to watch the collapse of everything she's built. It's a fate worse than death for a woman like her. And so now, in the final moments, the hallucinations stop. Curtis and Cameron are gone. Frank finally accepts the truth. He is the Punisher because he wants to be, not because of grief, not because of the mission. It's because that this is his true nature. The war isn't a phase, it's his life. And this ending is a direct setup for Spider-Man Brand New Day. By destroying the underworld balance, Frank has created total chaos in the streets, and Peter Parker is about to walk into a vacuum filled with blood and desperation. And the clash between Spidey's hope and Frank's punishment is really inevitable. Now, One Last Kill isn't about revenge, it's about identity. Frank tried to find a reason to stop, but he realized there's no finish line. The Punisher is a permanent force now. He's the shadow that even the shadows are afraid of. And the special finally answers the question Marvel has been avoiding. Who is Frank Castle when the revenge is over? And the answer is horrifying. He's exactly the same. He keeps going because war is the only thing that makes him feel alive. The man is gone, the legends are here, and New York will never be the same. But what do you guys think? Did Frank go too far, or is this the version of the Punisher we've been waiting for? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to this Loreverse Breakdowns channel, because some legends don't end. They just get bloodier. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay crispy and peace out.